With crude oil prices in a slump that even a geopolitical crisis in the Persian Gulf failed to shake, the U.S. is struggling to form a global coalition to protect international maritime trade, including the 21 million barrels of oil in transit each day.
So in this particular case, where 20% of the world's oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz, that's not just a United States issue. That's a global issue.
Operating today out of the North Arabian Sea at the southern tip of the Strait of Hormuz, the USS Abraham Lincoln is one of 2 U.S. aircraft carriers in the region tasked with deterring Tehran.
This is 4.5 acres of sovereign U.S. territory that I can park anywhere in the world. We're kind of the 911 force if something were to happen. We can move the ship up there very quickly. The beauty of a Navy aircraft carrier is our speed and agility. It's one of the fastest ships the Navy has. So we're able to reposition very quickly.
But with 6 attacks on tankers since President Trump's decision to double down on security in the Gulf back in May, many question whether even such a sizable force is really enough.
The aircraft carrier is a great symbol of American presence. We show up, we're ready to act, and what that does is we try to add stability to the region. What we have seen is there's an understanding from Iran. Our goal is not to go to war with Iran.
So 5,600 crew members, 80-90 flights a day. No doubt a massive undertaking here aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, but many back at home beginning to question whether the trillions of dollars spent to keep the Fifth Fleet in action here in the Persian Gulf are really paying off.
In June, President Trump tweeted as much, saying China gets 91% of its oil from the Strait, Japan 62%, and many other countries likewise. So why are we protecting the shipping lanes for other countries for zero compensation? And while the U.S. already partners with 33 nations to protect commercial shipping lanes, Gulf oil exporters may find getting their crude to market in future could come at a cost.
It's more critical for them that freedom of navigation is maintained through the Strait of Hormuz probably than it is for us. So I think that they see us as a reassuring presence here in their region.
Does that mean they should be paying for it?
I can't say that.
It's fascinating, isn't it, Madam? And when we take a look at a map of the Persian Gulf area, the Strait of Hormuz, the Arabian Sea, it's hard to get a real feel and a real grasp for just how big this area really is. Just to give you a sense of that, it took us about 3 hours of flying in a blackout aircraft to get out to the USS Abraham Lincoln. And when we landed, we failed to get our tailhooks, so we had to land again just because the winds were moving so rapidly and we were in 10 to 12-foot waves. I have to tell you, seeing those aircraft being able to land and take off in those kind of conditions was a really sobering moment, and just in terms of what it is exactly that the U.S. presence is trying to do out here, and the fact that, as you know, the U.S. military is twice the size of all the other militaries' presence here in the Gulf combined at this point, and that, of course, all against that backdrop of the president really pushing for a 20-member coalition to continue preparing and taking care and securing these maritime shipping lanes. Now, moving right along, I have to bring up something that I found really, really interesting. So in the 48 hours that we were following the Fifth Fleet around, not just in the area of the Arabian Sea on the aircraft carrier, but also at the base here in Manama, Bahrain, we were asking just how likely it is, how possible it is that we could actually see the Strait of Hormuz closed. Listen in. There is a common perception amongst oil traders, those who watch the markets, that the only way, really, that Iran could potentially shut the Strait of Hormuz and disrupt global shipping, disrupt oil supplies, would be through mining. But you've been out here since 2017, and you've yet to see a live mine.
That's accurate, ma'am. I have not seen a live mine in the capacity that I've been serving here. But we do know that is a potential, and we are going to maintain a ready unit and a ready crew to be able to defeat that if it's real.
You do believe that it's a credible threat?
I do believe, yes, ma'am.
So the Fifth Fleet, they're essentially saying, this is a credible threat. This is something that we prepare for. This is something that we train for. But the captain of that vessel essentially saying to me, there are 4 of us minesweeping out here, and we each, of course, has a sister ship, a British sister ship that we work with in these exercises. But she's been out here since 2017, and she's yet to see a live mine.